Most African founders don't have a strategy, they have a reaction. If you can't describe the exact gap between where you want to be in 5 years and where you are today, you're not leading, just a passenger in your own business. You're moving fast or you're moving in circles. If your team is exhausted, yet your revenue remains flat, it's because your floor plan is missing a foundation. My name is Adewumi-Zer, and I'm the founder and CEO of Zer Consultant Africa. In Germany, I learned that a 100 million euro institution is never an accident. It's a result of first principles, because you can't build if you haven't measured. Now, if you're following along in the strategy blueprint, look at phase 1. This is where we stop measuring and start guessing. What we get in this phase is absolute clarity. By the end of this exercise, your team will have a shared vision for the future and a mission statement that acts as a structural anchor. No more confusion, no more wasted energy. If you haven't yet, pause this video, take it to the scale scorecard, linked in the description. It will tell you if your S pillar, strategize, is really your biggest leak. Now, let's dive into the blueprint. You should all have it up. We're looking at the first column, looking at phase 1, strategy assessing and visioning. First thing you need to do is you need to review your previous strategy. Now, when you're reviewing your previous strategy, this is about reviewing where you won, but also where the challenges were. And it's not about regrets. It's not about finger pointing and trying to cast blame, but really just wanting to understand. So we set out to do X and we only got to Y. What was the reason for that gap, and what do we need to adjust to make sure that we can plug that gap in the future? You've reviewed your previous strategy. Next is to conduct a gap analysis. What is a gap analysis? Gap analysis says, we'll look at where I want to be in 10 years. What's my vision for the company in 10 years? And now 10 years is a long way away. Where do I want to be in 3 years? 3 years time. That's more matters for the vision. And even to hit that 3-year goal, where do I want to be in next year? Now, looking at where that desired state, whether it be 10 years, whether it's in 3 years, whether it's at the end of this year, and where am I currently? And finding where those gaps are, because that's where we have to focus on in terms of closing those gaps. But we have internal resources, right? We are good at some things. It's not all bad. And so looking at these competencies, these resources, these capabilities, and as you're doing that, also looking at the market, right? Because we're not playing in silos, we're playing in a market. Looking at our competitors, analyzing the industry landscape, looking at what other companies are doing, whether we're calling them competitors, whether we're calling them collaborators, also looking at potential opportunities and threats. And this is really where we do what we call a SWOT analysis. This is a topic we can go into in another day. We have that. The outcome of all this should really be a shared vision for the company. You've done this hopefully with your leadership team, or maybe even with the entire company. If you have a smaller company, now you have a shared vision for the future. You know where you want to be in 10 years. You know where you want to be in 3 years. You know where you want to be at the end of this year. And you've decided that together. It's a shared vision. And then based on that, what is your mission statement? Good. Now we got through phase 1. What we've learned is that reviewing your strategy isn't about regret. It's a prerequisite for growth. Secondly, your unique resources are your only sustainable advantage in a competitive African landscape. Thirdly, external analysis identifies threats before they become a crisis. In Munich, they call that risk mitigation. Here in Lagos, we call that survival. Which part of your foundation is currently shifting? Let me know in the comments. And then subscribe, forward this video on to your leadership team. And then you can even click on the video to get the full deep dive in my executive masterclass. Thank you for watching. Together, let's make it happen.